Hey guys, how's it going? Kulprit here, and today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about Medal of Honor Warfighter. I'm going to give you my impressions. Now listen, I realize I've kind of missed the wave here. Everybody is putting these out. They have been putting these out. I've gotten a lot of messages asking if I'm going to do one. Understand that, you know, I wanted to play the game, and I wanted to kind of get over the newness a little bit, and I wanted to let my impressions sink in and give them some thought and kind of chew on them a little bit. Because I get a lot of messages from you guys, you know, via YouTube and Twitter and things like that, asking me for advice on, you know, hey, Kulprit, should I buy this game? Should I pre-order this game? What platform should I get it for? Things like this. And you know, I take that kind of seriously. I mean, if you're approaching me for advice, I try to give the best advice I can. Before I get any further, this is footage right now, which is supplied by my buddy, Clappy. I cannot, as most of you know, record on the console. So when they announced this as a console-only or Xbox only beta, I needed to enlist someone to help me out. So without any more on that, I'm gonna move right into my points. And the first one's gonna be the map. I had to, you know, when doing this, when approaching this entire beta, I had to be careful. You guys know I can get a little reactionary, I can get a little negative, and I didn't want to do that. And I knew heading in that I was going to be inclined to be that way. Why? Well, first of all, I haven't played a console in months. Most of my Xbox guys and PS3 guys know that. I am incredibly rusty over there. It was almost like starting from zero again. Coupled on top of that is going to be my personal disdain for night maps. I don't care for night maps. I don't know if I've discussed this with you guys before or not. I knew going in when they announced it was going to be one map, it was going to be Sarajevo Stadium, and it was going to be on the Xbox 360 only. I knew I was going to have to fight through a little bit of a bias to not like it, frankly. And that's just the impression I got. When I first jumped in, my wife had to run an errand. She took my oldest son. My youngest son was taking a nap, so I knew I had about like 30 minutes or something. The download downloaded quicker than I thought. I jumped in and played. Aside from my initial reaction toward the menus, which I'll get to, I didn't like the game. And the reason was, you know, I was terrible with the sticks. I didn't know where I was going on the map. I didn't even understand the game mode. Basically, I was playing TDM. I'll fully admit that. You know, there was a lot of things stacked against it. And so, you know, the first order of business is, you know, why did they pick a night map? I think that's a bad decision by them. I think they should have done a more vanilla map because there's just so much chaos. There's so much confusion going on to begin with a brand new game, demo, beta, whatever you want to call it. They should have just picked a more standard map than a night map. You know, it would have been easier. It would have been lessened the confusion and the learning curve. But overall, once you get beyond that, the map to me felt a little too cluttered. The pacing and size are okay. I didn't have a problem with that, but it's just got too much going on. Another little quirk of the map is, you know, certain things like a railing you can hurdle, you can vault, like a Battlefield. But then there's a log on the side of a path that they obviously want you to use as a route, but you can't jump over that log. It's a little confusing in that regard. So talking about hurdling things and size and pace of maps, I'm going to talk about the pace a little bit. I liked it. Basically it's kind of what I wanted in that regard. It's Call of Duty on a Battlefield 3 engine. It feels like Battlefield. The gunplay is Battlefield, but the style is more Call of Duty. Now it's definitely a hybrid. It's not like either one. I say it's kind of right down the middle, which I like. I'm encouraged by that. The concept's good. It's strong. Thumbs up there. It's definitely not a run and gun game. You're gonna get that impression watching some of the videos, because it seems very fast moving and the gunfights are over very quickly in some regards. But truthfully, as you're playing it and as you start to figure it out, and maybe I'm missing the boat here, but I don't think so. I think this, I'm pretty sure I'm on in this. It's a cover-to-cover game. And if you don't play smartly and strategically, you're going to get chewed up. Because with the Fireteam Buddy system, when it's working, you don't run into a lot of 1v1 gunfights. It usually is, if you're running solo, you're going to run into 1v2 usually. Because you can pretty much assume there's always going to be two guys fairly close to each other. So you have to be very careful. You have to know your routes. It's going to be a big map knowledge game. So only as people play are the maps really going to play how they should. So I was encouraged by the pace. I enjoyed it. I would definitely say it is a COD style gameplay, smaller maps, but yet it feels like a Battlefield. The movement and the gunplay. I'm going to move on to the graphics. There's been a lot of flack out there right now. Reaction to the graphics. I understand this. The graphics, truthfully, playing it on the Xbox are not great. I have to qualify that though, because again, I'm jumping from PC, a high-end PC that I'm used to playing Battlefield 3 on Ultra, to going onto a console. And this is not console hate. because what you have to also remember is that this is a this is graphics on a console without the high-res textures. Now, if you remember, some of you guys have to think back, when you first got Battlefield 3, one of the first downloads you got was a high-res texture pack. And basically what that does is just, it gives you HD images, basically, and it makes the game look a lot nicer. If you were to go back and take Battlefield 3 and take the high-res texture pack out, it would look very similar to Medal of Honor Warfighter. Now, true, the art is a little different here. It's not, you know, Battlefield went for the gritty realism. They wanted you to feel like you were walking through a Middle Eastern city, basically, where this is not. This seems a little more cartoony, cel shady. It's got a little different flair to it, and that's their artistic freedom, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I do prefer the more realistic style, but, you know, I can appreciate this as well. I've been told by people that played Alpha on the PC that it looks much, much, much better. I mean, after all, this is the Frostbite 2 engine. We're familiar with that and how it scales between the consoles and PC on Battlefield 3. So I think it's fairly safe to assume the same will hold true for Medal of Honor Warfighter. But like I said, I think a lot of people are missing the fact that this has no HD textures. So even you console guys can look for improved graphics, I would think, on the day of release. I'm assuming there'll be an HD texture pack release. That seems to be standard operating procedure these days. While I'm talking about the graphics, I just do want to touch on the destruction. There's not that much. I don't know if that's just a particular map. I mean, you can blow up some walls and things like that. It's very similar to Battlefield 3, where it's, you know, you're going to start to learn what blows up, what doesn't. It's certainly not Bad Company 2. It doesn't have zero destruction like a Call of Duty does, but it's certainly not total destruction. It's not Bad Company 2 at all. Certain buildings do blow up. I don't know if they ever came down. I don't think they did, but I think certain walls and things did blow up. I could be wrong on that, though, but I mean, you'll see some bullet marks and fragments and things like that. But as far as destruction that I saw is fairly lacking. Could be just a map specific thing, but I don't think it is. I think that's just going to be the style they're using, again, because I think full destruction just cannot be handled by the consoles in Frostbite 2. And we won't see that really ramped up globally until we're in next-gen consoles. Next will be the all-important gunplay. It can be difficult to kill somebody, almost more so than Battlefield 3. That was my impression. Again, I have to qualify that. Remember, I am a PC gamer playing on Xbox. Of course it's going to feel hard to kill people. I was having a very hard time to aim. I was getting very frustrated by that. You know, at times my gun can feel underpowered. I have that same issue sometimes on the PC on Battlefield 3. You know, it could very much just be that my game was off. I tried to play a lot of hours to kind of, you know, stretch that out and get the aberrations out of it. But, you know, I have to mention that. Hit detection is a bit wonky. I have suspicions that that's just the more of a beta issue, a server issue. I really feel like this beta here was really to server test, stress test it, things like that. A little bit of lag spikes and hit detection seem to be an issue throughout for everybody. So I think it was more of a beta issue. I hope it's just a beta issue. The hit indicator, the actual, you know, like in Battlefield 3, you have the little crosshairs that come up when you hit people. That needs a little bit of a boost. It's hard to tell sometimes when you're hitting people. That goes with the kill message. I feel like that font needs to be larger. It just needs to be more pronounced. I know I'm new to the game and I don't know exactly where to look on things. You know, like Battlefield 3, you almost know that you killed someone without even registering it, just because in your peripheral you see the text pop up and you move on to the next target. That comes with experience. I understand that. But there was a lot of times where I missed the kill message and I had no idea I had just killed someone. On the other hand, I said it could be hard to kill people. I feel like I get insta-killed a lot. Now, this could just be a perception thing. I think that's pretty standard in games like this, but I have a feeling the headshot multiplier needs to be toned down. I feel like I literally go from full health to dead very quickly and without much warning or indication. So I don't know if that might be I'm just getting headshot. I don't know how to really research that just yet. But it definitely needs some fine-tuning. Aside from that, the feel is good. It feels like Battlefield 3. It's there. It's rough, but it's there. I'm encouraged by that. It's what I wanted. Now I wanted to talk about 3 of the bigger gripes I had about the game. Things that I think just don't work and pretty much need a large overhaul to work. First one being the menus. Just about every video I've watched has hit on this, and it's that obvious, guys. The menus and the user interface is terrible. It might be the worst one I've ever seen. For a game with this much customization, and there's so much, guys. There's a lot of attachments and paint jobs and things like that. It's really cool for you guys that like that. You can go nuts. It's just presented to you in the most the least intuitive way I've ever seen. It's really poor. It baffles me that in big production games like this, we can get these brilliant minds to think about gameplay mechanics, gameplay concepts, rules, and so many man hours and resources and brain time are put into these things, and then you dress it up with silly user interfaces like this. You know, like, let's just put a little more focus here, fellas. You know, I'm hoping to skirt the issue by playing on PC, and since that's going to run mostly through Battlelog, I'm hoping I won't have these issues as badly. But for you guys on consoles, you're probably just going to have to tough it out, because I don't see them being able to overhaul it in such a short window. Potentially down the line, but honestly, I don't see that happening. I don't see that as a priority for them. You're probably just going to have to grit your teeth and deal with it. It's pretty bad. Spawns. Now, spawns, every game are an issue. This one, there's 3 basic spawns that I saw that you could choose from. First one was buddy spawn, your fire team buddy. That's okay, because that's your choice. It's very much like spawning on a squad mate in Battlefield 3. The only caveat to that is your spawn is blocked if your buddy who is alive engages in any type of firefight. If he shoots his gun or he is shot at, you are blocked from spawning on him, which is good. I like that. I wish Battlefield 3 did this. It would, you know, just remove a lot of frustrations I have in gunfights when someone pops out of the guy's butt, eats up your spawn protection, eats up your bullets, and then they both turn at you, laugh, and shoot you. The second one is fall back, and basically this is supposed to be your home base spawn, and it can be really rough because these maps are small enough, and especially in a game like Hotspot where people are literally wandering around the map, and especially once those people figure this out, they can just go camp the spawn. There's nothing keeping them out of the spawn, and they'll be able to get easy kills as you spawn in on fall back, because your fire team buddy's dead. Your only other option is to fall back. This is going to need some work and some rethought, I think. I don't know if this is just going to be for this game mode or if this fallback spawn is for every game mode. It'll be interesting to see. This definitely needs work. The third option is deploy from the Blackhawk. It's a death trap, basically. And remember, this was the first day or two of beta. As players get more savvy, they figure these things out. Blackhawks are going to be camped. All right, so do not spawn a Blackhawks. You want a tip for beta? Don't deploy off the Blackhawk. And it's only gonna get worse as players get wiser. And the last category that I had pretty big gripe with was matchmaking and fire teams. I saw literally no way to switch my fire team once I was in a match. Many times I was in a solo fire team and saw other solo fire teams on my team, so to speak. And for those of you who aren't familiar, most of you are. A fire team is 2-man squad. You can do a lot of things. You can heal each other. You can resupply with ammo, spawn off each other. There's a lot of things you can do. In-game voice. So it is crucial. It's the backbone of the game, quite frankly. So being a solo fire team, you're nerfing yourself. I mean, you're literally tying a hand behind your back. You're not getting the full game. So why on earth is the game putting guys in solo fire teams? Like, if I join this server late and there's a solo fire team, I should go right in that. There should at most be one solo fire team. You know, there's an odd number of players, so there has to be. Next guy joins, he's forced into that fire team. Now, I also didn't see a way to manually change a fire team, because I got on with a lot of 008 guys. I never played with one of them, and it was probably half a dozen guys in the match. I just didn't see how to do it. Now, that could just mean me not knowing how to manipulate the party system, the map, the menus, things like that. Absolutely possible. But my point is, it was not intuitive. It was not easy to do, and it needs to be. It's another game that prioritizes teamwork that makes it incredibly difficult to play as a team. Sound familiar? Yeah, it's just like Battlefield 3, guys. I wanted to touch on score chains a little bit. The Spec Ops Vision, first of all, I put up that video. A lot of people had mixed feelings on that. That video was absolutely overpowered, the alpha video I put up. They have since changed it quite a bit, as a lot of the comments alluded to. I couldn't find any footage at the time, but now let me assure you that Spec Ops Vision is not OP at all. It's honestly, in fact, I would almost lean towards it's underpowered. I forgot about it a lot and didn't use it all that much. I'll get better at that as I play more, obviously, but it was not as, a big a tool as it was in that alpha video at all. It's really just, I used it for camper vision to root out prone campers, or, as you're approaching the bomb site, so to speak, to just see if there's anybody camping, to just a quick glance. It wasn't that much of a tactical tool. It's very quick. It's very hazy. It's an asset, but it's definitely not OP by any means. Score chains in general are more of a support function, so to speak. They're not dominant like Call of Duty, where you get one perk, and that could carry you to the next one, which carries you to the next one, and next thing you know, you've got a nuke. These are more tools, and you know, they help you or they help your team. They're more background though. They don't take over the match like I was afraid to. This is a good thing. I'm encouraged by this. There's not that many of them, to be quite honest. I thought there would be more, but who knows what the future will bring with the game. So I mean, basically, guys, in summary, I enjoyed it, and once I kind of wrapped my head around it, I did have fun. It's not a game to play solo. If you're a guy that typically runs by himself, this may not be the game for. In fact, I'm telling you right now, it's not the game for you. If you have a pretty solid group of friends and they would also be interested in this game, you could have a lot of fun in this game, and you can do really well at this game, frankly. A lot of the frustration I had stemmed from me being really, really rusty on consoles, obviously. And, you know, the biggest worry I have is that this will be a good game eventually, and it just won't be ready on the release, which is what we're looking at, 2 weeks away. I think there's a lot of refining this game needs before it's released. Now, I don't know how old this build was that we're playing. You know, if you remember Battlefield 3, we were playing like a month-old build in the beta demo. I don't know if that's the case with Medal of Honor. I have no idea. I hope so, because that means they've had an extra month to refine things and polish, because this game needs a lot of polish. I think the concept is really good, and it could be very, very fun, and it could be a very good game, frankly. But it's hard to tell, like, what is glitchy demo beta stuff and what is just quote-unquote potentially a poor game. It's hard to tell what that line is. That's really why I was disappointed that they did an Xbox exclusive. I think it's unfair to ask people to make a leap and purchase a game without playing it on the platform of choice. I have not pre-ordered yet. I have not decided one way or the other yet. I will probably wait until just about the last day or two of being able to do so to make my final decision. But if I had to give you an indicator one way or the other, right now, I'm encouraged and I'm leaning towards buying it. So that is not a full endorsement. I'm waiting to see some of the feedback we get after this beta closes. But my bottom line is, if this game is supported properly, it has a lot of potential. If not, it'll die quickly. We haven't seen a very good record of support, neither in Medal of Honor 2010 or with the other big gorilla in the room, the EA game, Battlefield 3. So there's legitimate concern there. But if Danger Close is committed to supporting this game, fixing problems, refining issues, this could be a very fun game, a very good game, and it could last for quite a while. We just don't know yet. So there you go, guys. There are my thoughts. I know this ran really long, so I'm going to cut this off pretty quick. Let me know what you guys thought about the beta. I'm very interested. Like I said, I haven't made my decision yet, so I would love to hear what you have to say. Otherwise, guys, I always appreciate the like, favorite, retweets, all that stuff, and I will talk to you soon.